topless planet. You see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fire going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take you for your money in whatever spring. And I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. Take me. Guitar Players Planet. 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 Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way the music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to the land of the new. Holidays can ring in your fear, because And I've seen a lot of cops, I've seen a lot of lawyers pull out all the stops. I've seen a lot of children with their parents in their hands. I've felt a lot of women who refuse to understand. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. You see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fire going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take all your money, whatever else you bring. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. Take me. Guitar Players Planet. 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 Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way the music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to the lands of new.
got it. Can I? Oh, I can't use. I can't use the same one that you gave me. Oh, okay. Send me the. Just send it to me. Messenger. Oh, well, hold on. Wait a minute. Okay, ready for the number.
215
215
399
399
091.
I've seen a lot of bankers, and I've seen a lot of cops. I've seen a lot of lawyers pull out all the stops. I've seen a lot of children with their parents in their hands. I've felt a lot of women who refuse to understand. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such fuss.
I literally, I fell asleep. I mean, I fell asleep.
And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to
Yep,
Guitar Players Planet.
he should be. Let's see what he's saying. I see a name and a password box. Yep.
Yeah, so the name is just what his name is.
Yep.
The password box.
Take you for your money, I'm whatever else bring. But I don't think I understand why we're making such fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. Take me.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, I
understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. 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 Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way the music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way,
Good. Hey,
to
Dan.
choose. I'm gonna start
No,
running
I've heard a lot about you, so I know. Oh, okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Cool. That's mine right there.
Seems to me that I have lost my old friend. I catch the sunset off the highway again, and I get lost on a long summer day. I must go back before it's too.
There we go. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody at AstroWorld. Dan here. We got Scott, and we have a special guest. And Tegan, we have Tegan, who's an astrophotographer that's come to join us tonight. I hope everybody could hear everything. We already got some questions about the music in the background. We always get questions about the music, and I love it because it's my band. So I mean, it's and I think I'm missing Tegan's audio real quick. No, I'm here.
Mic check.
Nope, you're good.
Yep, he's there.
Yeah. So whose music is that? I did the. You could hear us on purpose a little bit. I was singing in the background, waiting for Scott. Scott was sleeping, and Scott works a lot. So
was that a wake-up call?
That literally was a wake-up call. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I literally laid down and my lights went right out.
Yeah, you know what? It happens. Listen, I've been on either Zoom or YouTube or something for the past 4 nights from 6 or 7 o'clock to 11, and for the past 3 nights, and I'm just tore up. So we're here to talk. I know Scott's got some new toys. I know I have some new toys, and I'm sure Tegan's got his closet over there. So he's got some toys. But Tegan, since you're new to the group, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody and tell us a little about yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Tegan. I've been doing astrophotography for coming up on 6 years, I'd say. Started in 2015. I started visual, and then I had a DSLR, and I was actually using the Nexstar 8SE just as a visual scope in my apartment downtown Cincinnati. And I quickly figured out that you could attach a DSLR to the back of the Schmidt, and I guess that's all she wrote. But I'm currently a product advisor at High Point Scientific. Been working for them for the past year and a half. But yeah, I'm super excited to be on with you guys and just talk some astronomy and astrophotography. It's what I live for. So.
Yeah, and that's what we do here. I mean, that's what we do. And like I told you off screen, we like to keep it light. I'm more of like the comic relief kind of guy. I am an astrophotographer as well, but I kind of like throw in the movie lines and stuff like that. But
and the Mai Tais, don't forget about the Mai Tais.
I don't do Mai Tais. I do whiskey. I don't do Mai Tais. but yeah. So you've been doing this astrophotography 5-6 years, and you said you started with the Schmidt.
Yeah, it was an old-ass mount. So I found out, I liked visual, and then once I learned how to attach my DSLR to my the Nexstar 8SE, I realized quickly that I bought all the wrong equipment. So I upgraded to an Orion Atlas and a William Optics GT102.
Nice.
And one of the old ATIC 414 CCD cameras.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, it was nice. Yeah, that's kind of how I started. And then now I'm imaging with Newtonian. That's my main. A 10-inch Newtonian is my main imaging scope.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's the RC, right?
No, I have an 8-inch RC,
The 8-inch RC.
Yeah, but my 10-inch Newtonian is the one I prefer to go with.
Was that the
Gotcha.
3.9?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Is that the Orion?
No, Quattro.
Quattro. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Same thing.
You know, it's kind of the same, but not really.
Tomato, yeah.
Yeah, I had a 10-inch 3.9 from Orion for just a hot second, and I found out that it was just I put it on the Atlas as well, but the Quattro is super small compared to the Orion 10-inch 3.9. The Orion 10-inch 3.9 is like a cannon. It's like
Yeah,
huge.
I mean, my whole rig, I mean, with scope and filter wheel and accessories, I think comes up to 42 pounds. It's a 3-foot scope.
Okay, yeah,
It's
okay, so it's pretty big. Yeah,
It's it's big.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
You know, you can put it on top of the mount with one person, but you're kind of putting it up there, holding it on your shoulder as you tighten your dovetail clamps. Well, you can do it with one. Two is recommended.
Yeah. No, I have a 127 refractor, about the same length. So all put together, I think everything weighs probably about the same as yours, about 40 pounds. But I have the 127. I have an 80 Esprit and a guide scope on top with the Eagle and all that kind of stuff. So I got a whole bunch of garbage going on. But it's different, especially. Are you still imaging with the Atlas?
No, I have the Ioptron CEM60.
There you go.
That's my main mount.
Nice.
I've had it for 2 years, and it's I'll say absolutely flawless every single time I use it, and it's really unfortunate that they've discontinued it, because I think that was their pivotal mount, at least. And then I've heard decent things about the Sim 70. I've heard decent things.
Yeah, but I think I've heard the same thing that you've heard, that the 60 outperforms, even though it's a different weight class by a little bit. It outperforms the 70 in many ways. As a matter of fact,
Simon.
One of the guys on our show that lives in the Southern Hemisphere, Simon, he was on the massive Search scope, same exact weight, different mount, and he was getting like a half an arc minute better.
Oh man!
Yeah,
see, I've seen some Sim 70s perform very well, and I don't really have anything negative to say about them. But I know my CM60 has been awesome. It's been fantastic.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. I've been using an EQ6R for a while. I just purchased the EQ8.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I just purchased it right before, and you know this from being at High Point, right before the prices went up. So I got it right before. So I got it about $300 less than everyone else is going to get it.
Oh wow, nice.
So and just so you know, I don't know if you know this, and Scott, I don't even know if you know this or the guys on there. We actually just became an affiliate with High Point at AstroWorld. So
Scott actually told me that yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, we just got the paperwork done and all that kind of stuff. So we don't want to limit ourselves to one business, but you know that's the first. So
excellent,
So we'll be putting that on the websites and all that kind of stuff. So
fantastic.
Yep, High Point is
what?
Yep, High Point is where I got a lot of my initial equipment. That's where I bought my C14, the CGXL, and my initial equipment. Of course, the most of that has changed now, except for the CGXL, except for the OTA. But the telescope. But it is what it is. But High Point. The guys out at High Point, Tegan's been a bright spot, for a long time now. We've had many long conversations. Chewed his ear, pretty extensively. And,
in all fairness, Scott, there are no short conversations with you.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's so true. You know, we get into it and you look down. It's like, oh my God, we've been doing this for 90 minutes. What in the world?
Scott calls me up at like 9 o'clock on Thursdays and keeps me on the phone the whole drive until I get to my job at Camera Concepts, and then he calls me back at like 6:10. Hey, buddy, what's going on? It keeps me company all the way home. What
are friends for?
Hey, yeah. So Tegan, I work at Camera Concepts and Telescopes 1 day a week. Not my real job, but pays for the hobby and keeps me married. So
yeah, more like keeps him out of divorce court. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why I could get, I don't know, stuff like this.
Yeah.
And
nice.
And I got a flattener here I got to put on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and this too. This is a new edition. This is the Moonlight version 3-stepper with the USB Beautiful. On the bottom. So I got that. I got an Eagle LE sitting here that I'm testing. So hey,
I haven't gotten any new toys recently, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping to upgrade my Newt because there's a lot of flexure in those scopes, especially in the stock focuser, and just sag in general. So I want to upgrade to a Feather Touch and get some nice parallax, a set of parallax rings, just to stabilize it. And I think I'm not going to worry about flocking the internal and baffles and all that, but I think an upgraded focuser and a sturdier ring system is gonna help because I've been having collimation issues forever, and I just think it has to be the focuser. It has to be the focuser.
Yeah,
I'm convinced.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I mean, I've only done imaging with a Newt like once or twice. I really haven't done a lot of it. Same as you. I started with a 8-inch LX200 from Meade, and
nice.
Very soon after, the same as you, I figured out how to get the adapters and throw it on there, and I started taking pictures, and I found out really quick what a pain in the you-know-what polar alignment was with a Schmidt-Cassegrain without a electronic polar scope. And I don't know if you, I don't know how old you are, but I was sitting there with a polar scope, and you've got the crick in your neck, and you're going up like this, and trying to get polar aligned, and I stopped that really fast.
I did that for 2 years with the Atlas, and then I got the Polemaster. I still use the Polemaster. It's the easiest thing in the world. It's
Polemaster's awesome.
Polemaster.
Oh yeah.
Polemaster's awesome. Now I'm using Sharp Cap to polar align because the ASI cameras hook up to it. It's almost the same exact thing, but it works well. But the Sharp, the Polemaster is awesome. I love it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I noticed with the Rainbow is that it has built on the actual mount right on the front of the mount, pointing, due north. It's what you basically point right up towards Polaris when you're polar aligning. It's got this ring that is machined right into the front aluminum plate. And it's not removable at all. It's an actual part of the aluminum body. And I'm looking at that, and then I said, "What in the world?" And I open up the instructions, and lo and behold, it is a dedicated mount for exactly what you're talking about, for the Polemaster. And it comes with this.
Yeah, the little ring. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so you put your Polemaster, right on this thing, and you can literally take that thing on. But it's a dedicated mount for a Polemaster if you want to use it. Another neat little feature.
The Polemaster really cool. Has the same thing. It's got different rings for different mount styles that you have to fit that in there. the one thing about that, what a pain. I did this. This is a true story. First time I got the pole master, Tegan, you know
Okay.
this. Yeah, I should have thought about that. I didn't. So I'm sitting there trying to get that collar in there, and the only thing that's in there for the collar is these two little set screws that you got to get in there with this little tiny Allen key like this. And what do? I'm trying to. I was probably tired. You guys know me. I was probably drinking, and I'm sitting there going like this. And what do? Boop! Drop the Allen key right down in the middle of the. So I'm sitting there like this. I take the whole scope off, and I got a little doctor's light. I got this thing in here, and a bent hanger, and I'm trying to get that thing out. Took me about an hour and a half, but I got it without shorting anything. So,
Wow.
But
some of the things that we go through just to get a good night of imaging.
well, I got no imaging that night. I spent half the time getting an Allen key out of the map, but.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the pole master is awesome. I love it. I love it when it first came out. I bought it probably a month after when I found out that there was an electronic way to polar align. I was like, give me that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the end of that. I never looked back. But
Yeah.
So Tegan, tell us. I don't know if you know how to show screen or anything, or if you want to show us any of your pictures or anything. But tell us what you got in the works.
You got to check him out on AstroPen.
I don't have anything in the works right now, actually.
Okay.
It has been 3 weeks of clouds. About 3 weeks of clouds.
And where in the country are you, Tegan?
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Okay.
Midwest. So typically between seasonal transitions like spring, summer is when it's summer, fall, it's when it's pretty cloudy. But we can expect anywhere from 2, maybe 3 clear nights a week. So not terrible. I was in Colorado, so it was, clear almost every single night, and my skies were Bordeaux 3 outside my house. And I'll tell you, I had my just rig set up permanently, and I could get 10, 11 hours of data each night, and I was pumping out images every week, and that was the life.
Wow.
But
unlike my green screen's a little off, but the picture behind you, that's 26 hours over the course of 6 months because New York skies are horrible.
Yes.
So,
All right.
Yep. Yeah, you got to check him out at Rocky Mountain Astro as well on YouTube. But he's also got, and I'm sure we can put links up for his AstroBin and for his own site there. But Tegan definitely is he's no slouch. When it comes to astrophotography, all you got to do is go to his AstroBin and you can see that. But he's also been immeasurably helpful to me. Initially, I'm a sponge when it comes to learning and such, and I'll just soak up everything and anything I can get. And he's been very gracious with his time, and same goes for you, Dan. But it's the proof is in the pudding. So you take a look at his pictures, you'll see.
Grable, right?
Yeah, can you guys see? I don't know if I'm screen sharing.
Yep, I got you. And
okay.
You know what I'll do? I'll make it. I'll make it big for
is.
you. Give me a second. There we go.
There you go.
So
this
is some. I guess my most recent would be this one. This is with just a 60mm aperture doublet. I didn't get the data I wanted on this. I only got about 10 hours of data. So pretty noisy. But
is that the crab? No, that's not the crab.
No, it's the crescent.
Oh, it's the crescent.
Yeah, the crescent.
Yeah,
it's
beautiful. I got a bit of a delay looking at YouTube.
This is my second most recent one, which is the one I'm most fond of, I would say.
Yeah, the bubble.
The bubble.
Yeah.
That's the same data you sent me, isn't it?
I believe so. I believe so. This was a couple months ago that I shot.
Yep.
That's beautiful. Man. That's really nice.
Yeah.
But that was taken with the Newt and actually the ASI 183, so it's a tiny sensor.
Yep.
Yeah, but the small pixels are great for resolution.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
this is just
And
data from Chile that my buddy sent me. And this is probably my third most recent narrowband target. The Rosette that everyone is a huge fan of.
Sure.
Oh,
Sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean,
The
look at how
carnival
clear.
of animals.
Yeah.
It's
You got some
really,
awesome detail in those photos, man. Those are great.
man, it really is. It really is good stuff.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I put your AstroBin link up there. And did Scott say you have a YouTube channel as well?
Yeah. So Rocky
Yeah,
Mountain
no,
stuff.
yeah, Rocky Mountain Astro. Yeah, it's mostly post processing.
That's okay.
I haven't updated it in about a year or a year and a half. I haven't had a new video, but whatever's on there is actually it's still pretty useful. I've changed my workflow a bit, as I feel like most people do change their workflow over the course of a year. If you've learned anything in astrophotography, it's
Sure.
improve your workflow.
Yeah, that's the way it is in any imaging, you know.
Yeah.
The first
you're
the
constantly
first
learning.
client that I got, more than 15 years ago for a commercial project, I look back at the workflow that I did for that and versus what I do today. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I struggled that hard. And but you learn as you go. And if you're not willing to learn, you're in the wrong hobby, baby.
Yeah. I mean that's the whole tagline of the show. Keep imaging, keep educating, and what are you doing? What are you giving me a picture of? Just give me a picture.
Me?
Yeah, you just give me a picture of your mount.
I sent you my latest image of the telescope rig.
Gotcha.
That's the boudoir
Yeah.
stuff.
I was
Sure if you
gonna say I opened that image and I was like,
Yeah.
where's the mount head? He's sitting. It looks like he's sitting the
Right.
tripod directly onto the SCT. That thing is tiny.
Yeah.
It's so
I know.
small.
It's surreal. I know. I looked at it.
Oh my
It's absolutely
God.
surreal. Yeah, you got to put
Oh,
that
yeah,
picture.
you
up.
can't even see
gotta
it. Let's see if I can
It's
get it
stupid.
on.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's like, no, come on. Yeah,
I'm
I
so
opened
curious
that.
to see how it performs.
I literally opened that box and I picked up the bag and I thought maybe that they forgot the mount. Yeah, it weighs 18 pounds. It's stupid. I've got twice as much counterweight as what the mount weighs.
Yeah,
It's
18
ridiculous.
pound mount, 80-pound payload, 110-pound payload cap.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
it's ridiculous.
That's
And,
incredible
and
ratio.
and not for nothing, but the people at Rainbow, I sent an email to the CEO, the guy that actually designed the Rainbow mounts, and he got back to me like within just a couple of hours. I had a question about this and that, but the point is that he got back to me just like that, and I couldn't believe it. And I asked him another question. He immediately got back to me again. I mean, you can't beat that kind of customer service. That's the bomb. He's in South Korea, man. He's in he's on the other side of the planet. But
Yeah, I'll show you real quick. I'll show you the picture of the mount. And there you go. That's Scott's new rig. And you can see the big trash can on the front. This is a little bit. This is the RST, 8,000, whatever it is?
the RST 300.
I'm sorry, 300 cost 8,000. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tiny.
Yeah, that's it. That's all there is to it. That is ridiculous.
But the thing about that mount is that everything in it, except for like the COM ports and the connection ports and things, even those are mostly metal. Everything else, it's billeted aluminum. It's machined. Each piece is machined out of a solid block of aluminum. The thing is, it's a little tank. It's just
That's what you want.
You pick it up and it's
That's
like,
what you want.
yeah, I mean, you got something. Even though it's really small, your whole it's like, man, this thing is a tank.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So-
that thing is awesome. I just can't wait to get my rig together and settled right now because I got all my stuff has changed in like 6 months again. Everything has changed. The scope changed, the focuser changed, the flattener changed, the camera. Nothing's the same. Everything's different. The only thing that survived the morphing of my rig was my $99 William Optics manual rotator. That's the only thing that survived. Everything else is different.
Yeah.
So I got the 127. I got a $300 and whatever adapter from Precise Parts. The Asato, another adapter from Precise Parts. The William Optics, another adapter from Precise Parts, and the flattener and the QHY 16200.
So, the 16-2. That's a beautiful camera.
Yeah, yeah.
You're the 127. I'm assuming that's Explore Scientific.
Yeah. It's a carbon fiber, FCD 100.
Yeah. How do you think you would be able to handle the 152?
Not
153.
Not very well. I'm sorry. Go
I've
ahead.
seen a 127. I've never seen a 150 millimeter APO in person. So.
Well, the 150, Eric, one of our guys, was testing a 150. Was it 152? I think it is.
Yeah, freaking bazooka.
Yeah, it's huge, man. And unfortunately, if it was a carbon fiber one, I could carry it, not a problem. But it's big. I've had a 127 before. I'm well aware of its capabilities. I had the Explorer Essential version. I was actually waiting for my Esprit 120. And I was under, I guess, some delusions that I was going to get it anytime soon. So I ordered it in October, and I kept on getting emails from them month after month after month saying, and I spoke to I don't know if you know Ed McDonough over at Celestron. I spoke to Ed. I said, Ed, when is this coming? Oh, well, it's a moving target, whatever. I said, all right, fine, no problem. So I said, you know what? My buddy Tyler, who's on the show with us, who works at Explore, got me a deal on this 127. He's like, well, you buy it and whatever. And okay, so he gave me a good deal on it. So I bought it. The next day, the Esprit comes walking in the door of Camera Concepts. So now I have two scopes, just about the same, not exactly optics, but similar focal lengths, similar everything. I got the reach of a 952 on one, 840 on the other, and I'm like, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
You dual mount them on your EQ8.
well,
that's what we were talking about.
We were talking about that. Well, now I'm doing the 80 on top because I have the 80 Esprit. So I have the 80 at top's going to do my RGB with my 294, and I have the Explore Scientific with the QHY going to do my luminance and or narrow band, and I'll just do it all at the same time.
There you go.
Yep.
Do it all at the same time. I'm done with this. I have such little amount of imaging time, especially with this daylight savings time garbage, and
yeah.
Hey, we're coming up two days, and then it's all clear sky, shorter nights.
Yeah, it starts getting longer minute by minute. Yeah, and
minute by minute. We're patient, we're all patient.
Yeah, until it turns out to be December, and then we're freezing our kahoosies off. And hey, you know what? That's why I love, if you have the Eagle, if you have the ASI Air, whatever it is, you sit inside, you drink your hot toddy or your coffee or your with brandy and a candle, and you're nice and warm inside while your telescope's outside freezing, taking images. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's good for that scope to be cold anyway. So.
Yeah. So what portal are you in now? Are you in like
nice Bortle 7?
7.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Bortle 7.
All right. A little better than me, believe it or not.
And I refuse to do any LRGB imaging. I actually, I would say 3 or 4 months ago, I put 22 hours of data into the Pleiades cluster here.
Right.
Turned out pretty well, but I can't necessarily put 22 hours, and that was stacking only 60 or 70% of the best frames that I got. So I actually collected much more.
Yeah.
And it took a long time, and the results, whereas they would have been in Bortle 3, would have been so much better. So.
Oh yeah. But.
No, I have a dark sky site that I can travel out to, about 45 minutes away, and it's a Bortle 4, Bortle 5. I went the other night. It was windy. I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah,
setting up, taking down, driving, sitting up, taking down.
It's a lot. It's a lot, and it's a long drive. Like I have a Bortle 4 sky that I have about an hour and a half away. Which either way, either I got to go through the city and go upstate, or I got to go all the way to Eastern Long Island. I choose to go to all the way Eastern Long Island because there's nobody that lives there. But at 3 o'clock in the morning, when you're done, that's a drive. I mean, you're exhausted. And it's not safe. I'll be dead honest with you. It's not safe. And I find myself on many occasions doing, and it's not worth it.
I'll bring my blankets and a pillow and consider just sleeping until dawn in the back of my car. But it's so hot and humid here, you have to have your AC running the whole time. It's not fun.
No.
It's not very fun. So
no, it's not fun.
I've concluded, I have my 3 nanometer filters. I'm okay in light pollution. I'll be fine. Let's just stick with the narrowband data.
Yeah, I'm just about there with you, being Bortle 8, but I still dabble in the RGB a little bit. I got some okay images, but I'm shooting thousands of 15-second exposures.
Yeah.
Sky glow's killer, man.
Oh, it's horrible. I got the city to the left in the west. I'm right in the middle of Long Island, so I got light pollution north and south. And east. There's nothing. I'm surrounded. I got light glow that goes up probably 40, 45 degrees.
Yeah.
All around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Struggle.
Eric is also, he's complaining in the chat, about the why governments can't do this and that. I'm about 3 miles from Lake Ontario right now, and one of the things on the Great Lakes over the last few years, it's been a monster problem, is them not releasing at the locks downriver.
Yeah.
And the lake levels rising. I mean, I've seen literally in the course of a year, the lake go from, a level that is what I would consider to be sustainable, and to a point in the next year, it's 4 feet above where it was. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So, for them to take on legislation for dark skies, I think it's a pipe dream. They can't even manage their own lake levels, their own water levels.
Yeah.
So.
State governments work on legislation. That's what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If France can impose restrictions, why can't we?
Yeah, I know.
I'm so not getting into that.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get the frustration. I really do.
I'm with you. And I got a friend who's the secretary of the Dark Sky Association, and he's constantly sending letters. His name is Gary Citro, and he just sends letters and letters and letters and stuff like that. And he's got some stuff done. he got like some people going to LEDs and faux cutoffs and all that kind of stuff. So, but as a whole of things, it's a drop in the bucket. I mean, it's nothing. I mean, there's nobody gonna shut off Manhattan. If COVID didn't shut down Manhattan, nobody's turning off the lights. So, I mean, it's the Broadway was closed and the lights are still on. I mean, you know. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
All you have to do is go to sites like, this, which is the app on this is Dark Sky, and that tells.
Yep.
That tells the picture right there. That's I don't know how well you can see that, but.
Yep. Now we see it.
Yeah, there.
I think it's so funny though. You could literally draw a line down the country in half, down the Mississippi, and you could literally run that line down there. And why is it so dark to the west of that line and nothing to the right? I mean, I know it has something to do with population, and I get all that, but I mean,
because the Mississippi's right there. You don't have a river running through Nebraska and Kansas. And,
there's no rivers there. I make fun of my wife's. Yeah. I mean, my wife's cousins live in Nebraska, and I make fun of them all the time. I'm like, people live there?
It's great. Have you been to Nebraska?
I have not. I have not.
Yeah. No.
Nevada, I've been to Vegas like, I don't know, 13 times. And I love it. I made my deposits and I left.
No withdrawals.
No. I love Vegas. I want to go back, but yeah. But the real reason why we were going to go out there, we were going to go hit the Nebraska Star Party, which is either just coming up or is coming up soon. And that's something that we were going to actually drive across country to go do, but that failed miserably. But
we have tornado sirens going off right now, so stand by.
Okay.
I'm gonna go check that out.
Okay.
There's some severe storms coming through, so
okay.
I'm gonna just mute my camera, and I'll be right back and let you guys know an update.
Yeah. Be safe, man.
No problem.
Yep.
No problem. Yeah, one of the things that I was talking to Tegan about earlier, we were discussing topics and this and that, and maybe when he gets back, if he actually is able to make it back, hopefully everything is smooth out there. But is the what is how do you define a good camera to telescope combination? What is, if you're looking at a particular telescope, what is, how do I choose the best camera, so that I don't wind up with, oversampling, undersampling issues. I get the most out of what my camera and telescope combination can do. And he loved that idea, talking about that. Also, light pollution filters, talking about the light filters and why use this stuff, how to use it, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, that's a topic that comes up quite a bit, not only on the show, but at the store, on what camera do I get? And you would be surprised on how many, I'm not going to say dealers, because most of the dealers that are out there, the main ones are pretty good, from OPT to High Point to Woodland to us at CCTS. We're usually pretty good at matching it up, but there are dealers out there that sell you things that are not as knowledgeable, and they're just looking to make a buck. So make sure that you use the tools, and I use that as a pun, use the tools available, because there is a website out there called astronomy.tools, and if you go under the tools, there's a link there that says CCD suitability, and you can put your scope in there, the camera that you wish to buy, and see if that's suitable for your telescope as far as sampling is concerned. So
yeah. Well, there are also a lot of people out there that they don't understand the simple, the terms, what is oversampling? What is undersampling? You know, why when I hit the 2x2 binning, things all of a sudden they appear, you know, versus I'm doing in 1x1 and I can't see anything. You know, what is it? What's going on there? A lot of people don't understand how that whole process works. And I think if they understood how their camera, you know, actually works, how their sensors work, and how to best capture, that they would be better equipped to, you know, to use their telescope and you know, image capture. So that was one of the things that Tegan was, you know, he said that he'd like to kind of talk about. So
yeah, we can
hopefully,
go on to that.
hopefully when he gets back,
hopefully everything's safe and he comes back and all that.
Yep.
You know what? I have a picture up here that I could show really quick regarding the oversampling and undersampling. Just give me a second. Here you go. And okay, so this is an indication of oversampling and undersampling stars. Oversampling, you are not really good at. Well, I don't want to say you can fix it. You can with software by Pix Insight's morphological transformation or something like that. You could fix it, but undersampling is a lot easier to fix when you're doing dithering. Got to dither, if not, at bare minimum every 2 or 3 frames. I do it every frame because I'm crazy. But this undersampling with the blocky stars, they look like squares kind of. You can fix that with dithering and drizzling. And what drizzling does is that it averages out the pixels and makes a nice round image. Where the oversampling with morphological transformation kind of smushes the star back in, like putting the egg back in the eggshell. It's like, you know, that's what it's kind of doing. And it's kind of, once you get a handle of it, it's not so bad. But you got to make sure everything's oversampled the same way, because God forbid you have an oversampled image and a tilt issue at the same time, where some of the stars are slanted this way and the other stars are slanted this way because of your tilt. So you want to be careful with that. But did he come back yet? No, not yet.
But also the whole issue with binning, you know, people were asking on one of my Facebook groups this morning, you know, there was a guy asking about, you know, what is binning, you know, and why does it do the things that it's doing, and the whole binning process is literally combining, you know, that like you go from 1x1 binning is just your individual pixel, and, and then you've also got the size of the pixel, the well depth of the pixel, and so there are factors that are built into that as well. But when you 2x2 bin, you literally, it's on the XY, you know, you have a 2x2. So you're, in effect, putting 4 pixels together and calling it 1 pixel.
Right.
And that allows you to pull a lot more data, you know, into that pixel without it spilling out over the edges, like, you know, Aunt Becky's tea, you know, going out all over the table, you know, because she's not paying attention, right? She overfilled the teacup.
What would be a con to binning then?
You're going to lose resolution.
Yeah. Yep. That's the whole thing with binning. So there is a trade-off, and you're definitely going to lose it, but you can use it to combat some things. I mean, there has been an argument on to bin or not to bin, to quote Shakespeare, sort of. And it's been going back and forth for years. It's kind of the same conversation as, you know, Coke or Pepsi. It's really up to the artist. It's really up to what you're willing to accept in your images. And if that's good enough and gets you where you want to be, bin 9x9. I mean, that's, no, don't bin 9x9. But I'm just saying, but if it works for you, it works for you. I mean, some people do some crazy stuff out there that I would never think of doing with astrophotography, and it works. And it works. And I still may not even do it even if it works for them because I can't get it to work for me. But you know, it really, you know, because what you are as an astrophotographer, you are the artist, and it's
That's
all
right.
about what you see. Don't get too hooked in to. It's okay to get advice. It's okay to get advice, but don't be disconcerted by that advice, and because it's very easy to take criticism to heart.
Yep.
And many people, especially in the astrophotography community, are not doing things or saying things that is out of malice. Most people are saying it that maybe if you did it this way, maybe you might get a better result. Now, you may, as the artist, not wish to go that route, and that's okay. But don't just think that your pictures suck because somebody said that, well, I see a little tilter, somebody's a little pixel peeper, they got like Zoom 800 on your pictures. That, come on, you know what I mean? You know, I'm doing this 3 months. I mean, let's, you know, it's a beautiful picture for 3 months. You know, these things take practice.
Yeah, and I mean, in this field is no different than any other field of endeavor, be it professionally or on an amateur level. You are going to have those people that are going to they're what I call the crabs in a bucket people. You know, that's exactly what they do. They have one crab that wants to crawl out of that bucket, you know, and he tries to crawl out, and all the other crabs grab him and pull him back down into the bucket. You know, where are you going, kind of thing. Who do you think you are, that kind of thing. And the easiest thing to do is to find somebody that will tell you that your images suck. You know, that's the easiest thing to find. You know, and you're always going to come up against people who think that you know, you need to be doing it their way. You know, no, what you need to do is be doing it your way. You know, the one thing that drives me crazy as a photographer is when people come up to me and they see what I do. You know, like I'll sit on a site someplace, you know, and I'll sit there for an hour and a half and just watch a sunset and take pictures of clouds and talk to people. And people come up to me all the time and they say, "Oh, you know, this pictures are so beautiful. Man, if I had a camera like yours, I could take these pictures too." No, you got to understand something. You got to understand something. This camera, this tripod, I may have $8,000 worth of equipment sitting here, but it's a tool.
Yeah.
The artist isn't there. The artist is right here.
Yeah. I agree.
And I said that to them. I say that to them too. I said, pull the phone out of your pocket. I says, that thing is a tool, and most modern phones today have the ability to do amazing photography with them. You know, you don't need a $6,000 Nikon to do that. I mean, does it help? Sure it does. But that's a tool. And I say to him, it's kind of like saying, you know, well, you know, if I had Monet's canvases and his brushes and his oils, I could paint like him too. No, it doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
You know, so you're the artist.
It's like I like to use this analogy all the time. I used to play golf. I don't play like I used to. I used to play once a week, and I was okay. I was in the low 90s. I broke 90 once, and I was a good golfer. And now I'm shooting in the 120s, so I'm sure. So at least in the 1-teens. But whatever the case may be.
That's because you're drinking.
No, it's because I'm up all night stargazing, and I don't want to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to golf. So that being said, you know, it's like this guy that walks up, and he walks up. He's got the Titleist hat on, and he's got the nice, like, the $150 polo shirt that says Callaway on it. He's got the brand new FootJoy shoes that don't make a mark on the grass when he walks, and he's got this remote control golf cart that he's going on, and he comes on the side of the green. He's like, the golf cart literally follows him. He's got like a remote control on his side, and it just follows him. If he gets too far away from the cart, it moves up. It's the most hilarious thing. And he gets up there and he's swinging and he looks good. He walks up to the tee and he shacks it because he's never hit a golf ball in his life. So,
exactly.
So it's the same thing. It's like, you know, just because you spend $20,000 on a rig does not mean that you're going to be taking pictures like any one of us, including Tegan, myself, you, Eric, Jason.
I'm back, Scott, by the way.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Tegan's back. And let me throw him back on real quick.
We're just talking philosophy.
Everything okay?
Yeah, there's a tornado touchdown about 20 minutes away from here.
Oof.
But it's so far
you need to book it.
It's just lightning. Yeah, I'll let you guys know. But it's lightning and sprinkling here. I told my wife, like, come get me if it gets bad. My cat's somewhere in our woods, probably caught in a tree. That's what she likes to do.
Oh,
so
no.
we'll see. I'm hoping the storm blows her home.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Yeah. Well, I hope the cat's okay.
This is this is train number 6.
Oh my God. Okay. We had a couple. We were basically just talking about
Philosophy.
yeah. Just because you have an awesome rig doesn't mean that you're going to take good pictures in a week. You know.
Yeah.
If you spend $20,000 on a rig and you get it and you have it all set up, kind of like what Scott has right now, and who's taken 2 pictures, you know. But,
yeah. Me
right.
personally, I'm an advocate of, get what you can, use what you have, and then dive as deep as you can with that equipment. Become as proficient at setting up, acquiring your data, and processing as you can. And then once you upgrade, apply all that knowledge to your upgrade, and then you'll see the real differences in your equipment.
Absolutely.
So if you're extremely proficient and at editing, your images that you require with a 102 millimeter refractor, you want some more detail, and you decide to go to like a Schmidt Cassegrain, an 8 or 9 1/4. And once you make that upgrade, you will be able to maintain that fine detail in your post-processing workflow because you're familiar with it, and you're just taking that knowledge that you've had and transforming it to your new equipment. And that's what I've done. That's what I've what I really
that's really the normal progression, I would think. Tegan is yeah, you get what you can get, whether that's your iPhone and an XYZ attached to an eyepiece, which is fine. I've seen some people, if you look up iPhone astronomy on the web, holy cow, unbelievable.
There's Milky Way photos.
Unbelievable, crazy. Yeah, so you can start there. You don't have to start with a $5,000 camera. You don't have to do that. Now, if you're crazy like us, plus we've also been doing it for a long time. We've inherited things. We've saved up for years. Some of us are on the border of divorce. But it's like, I gotta say, my wife supports me. She loves everything. She thinks I'm nuts, but she supports everything I do. I just joke about it online, so don't take that any seriously.
I have a very supportive wife as well, and it's extremely helpful.
Absolutely.
Not helpful. I'm very grateful.
Definitely.
I'm very grateful.
Yeah, and I amen to that. I mean, I'm the same way. My wife thinks I'm crazy, but she supports what I do. And my situation is a little different than a lot of people's. I first of all came into this as a professional imager. I came into this, with a lot of experience in the photography world. Everything from commercial photography all the way up to portraits and landscape work. And so I've got a lot of experience in that. So I knew the benefit of going big with equipment, going into it. So I had some disposable income, and I funneled quite a bit of money towards that, and not everybody can do that. And I get that. And I think the biggest takeaway is to realize that you don't have to go that route. No. It worked for me, and it's working for me, but you don't have to go that route. You know, I could see the benefit right away. I had the money here, I had the product here, and I realized that the value, it was more valuable for me for getting the product and making the switch. You know, and so I did that. But there are a lot of people, they can't justify, like what Dan was saying, they can't justify spending $3,000 on a camera.
Exactly.
You know, a dedicated astrophotography camera. All it's going to do is stay attached to your telescope. It's not going to do anything other than that. I can't justify $3,000 for a camera. So, you know, I get that. You have to get to the point where the value exceeds, you know,
your value.
You know, where you're willing to make that trade.
Yeah. You know.
So
it's really interesting because, you know, and I know, Tegan, we were talking about, I know this was a topic that you wanted to talk about, but matching up a camera to a telescope the right way, so you're not dealing with just images that are garbage because you just bought the wrong equipment.
That's what I did when I had my William Optics 102. I'm like, okay, I'm looking for a dedicated astronomy camera. Back then, 5 years ago, 4.5 years, there were just CCD cameras. The good old days. The CCD cameras were still, you know, the way to go, like the 314, the 414. 6.75 micron pixels with 500 millimeter focal length. So I was, or 480 or whatever the scope was, I was sampled at like 3.4.
Oof.
So my stars were, or whatever that math is, my
bricks.
stars were so blocky.
Yeah, they're bricks.
I did 4 pixels per star. I didn't really know the difference. But, you know, back then I was like, sweet, you know, I got excellent data. I would do my 30-minute, 45-minute exposures.
Sure.
Because, you know, and the data was great. The stars were not. But, yeah, from there I upgraded to the 1600.
Yeah.
And I was blown away by the amount of improvement between those two cameras.
And it's funny.
It's so important.
Yeah, it is. And I'll be that, you know, my setup right now with the 16200 and the 952 focal length refractor, even though it's I got 6 micron pixels, 6.
Mm-hmm.
But the chip is so huge. The chip is humongous. It's an APS-H.
H.
Yeah.
It's an H. I never even heard of an H. But you know what? It's about 50% larger than the APS-C.
Yeah.
So if you go to astronomy.tools and you put in the 127 and the QHY 6200, it's right in the middle of the perfect sampling rate. Right in the middle. 1.1 something.
Oh, that's 1.1. That's nice.
Considering with my S-Big and the 80, I was sampling at 2.94.
Is that the 8300?
Yeah, the 8300, the STF with the Esprit 80, with the 400.
You said 2.9?
2.9, yeah.
Yeah. That's like that's pretty close to that undersampling.
Oh no! It's I'm undersampling. I was undersampling bad. But you know what? I got some good data. I got some really good data, and I was able to take care of it because I did it like every frame.
3 times drizzle, that helps.
Yep. Did all that, and I got some good photos. I got some good narrowband shots of the Hart Nebula, the North American, the Pelican. Yeah.
It's fun. Yeah.
I can't wait to do Thor's helmet in the winter. I'm psyched.
Yeah. For those that are out there that are wondering what the heck is this drizzle thing? What is this drizzling and dithering and so on and so forth? Dithering, you know, people. I've had people in the past. You know, they talk about the space program. You know, and they talk about NASA. And, you know, and the 1.52 billion-dollar investment that was Hubble, or that is Hubble, you know, and what does that pay for? Well, I'll tell you, one of the biggest things that they've given us is not just the Hubble palette, but also that dithering, reality. That, I mean, that came from Hubble. You know, when they were having their problems, their issues, you know, the scientists at NASA figured this out, that if you just simply move your camera every so little bit, just a little bit, you will average out all of the all those lines, the vertical lines that you get in the photograph from, you know, repetitive imaging. And it was just brilliant. We owe a huge debt to the NASA scientists.
Yeah. And now we use it with every single software.
Everything.
We got, you know, Pix Insight or APP or, you know, anything out there that has drizzling.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. We actually have a bunch of questions on here. Actually, we're ignoring our typers over here. I'm sorry. Do you recommend CCD Inspector for analyzing, or is SharpCap enough? Well, I know what I would say. What would you guys say? I don't know if you guys know CCD Inspector at all. So
I've never shot CCD.
Yeah, no, I've never used it. I've heard so many great things about it.
Okay.
So I've used SharpCap for planetary imaging. I'm assuming CCD Inspector for collimating, right?
Well, CCD Inspector does a bunch of things, and the things that it could do, the title's a little misleading. CCD Inspector can take any TIFF file that you have and inspect it to the point of curvature, tilt, any issues that you may have in your optical train.
Waveform, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard so many great things about CCD Inspector. I don't know the extent at which SharpCap does all the things that CCD Inspector does, so I can't necessarily give an answer to that. But
I mean, I would tell you this: SharpCap for the regular astrophotographer is more than enough. It's more than enough. Now, if you want to know the little intricacies, and you are one of those people that want to know everything about your photo, spend the 300 and change, get CCD Inspector. You'll love it. I love it. I'm a little crazy like that. I got it, and it's great. But I don't use it to its full thing. I just use it to check my image train. If I see some weird things, okay, let me throw it in there, see if I got, maybe my flattener, maybe it needs to be adjusted by a millimeter, or maybe I got a tilt problem where I got all this crud here, I got to shim it or something, whatever the case would be. It's a really good tool.
Will it provide you with almost live instructions on how to adjust if you need to adjust? Okay. No. I didn't think so.
I wish it would.
Where are the self-collimating, automated collimating telescopes?
Good luck with that. They have these automated screws for the secondary.
Yeah, and it just analyzes the field and just makes adjustments, and they have autofocusers. Like, come on.
So now you need to go and you got to buy adaptive optics, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just do that. It doesn't help your collimation, but it'll help a little bit. But
yeah, there's a lot to be said for the hands-on approach to things too. Getting down and dirty and really taking and looking at how things work. When everything is automated, it kind of works. It can work you out of the loop. It's kind of like the difference between film photography and digital photography. A lot of these digital photographers these days, they have no idea how easy they've got it. They have no idea. They don't know they don't even know what it smells like to walk into a dark room.
I don't know what it smells like.
Yeah. I can still smell the chemicals because my dad cut my teeth. He helped me cut my teeth early. I was 5-6 years old when he took me to Camera Club at Kodak. I could still smell the chemicals. I remember using the enlarger, and he taught me how to dodge and burn in black and white, and this and that. I mean, so I like the hands-on approach. I like getting down and dirty, and Dan laughs at me because I still use things like this, you know.
No, you got to
you
show
know.
your caliper. That's
Yeah,
that's nothing. That looks like a
I got
ruler.
your millimeter
yeah, it's my,
calipers.
yeah. I've got no, mine aren't digital. I've got dial calipers, you know.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I got a set of 6-inch Starretts, you know, that are. I mean, they're just
6-inch
amazing.
stirrups.
Starrett,
Stirrups.
not stirrups. No.
Butt plug.
No. But you know, so I like that. I like getting down and dirty and all that. You know, getting into the nitty gritty of how things actually work. So, but that's me. I'm kind of a weird.
That's one of the more nostalgic, I guess, times when you first started getting into astrophotography. It's, you know, nowadays with the ASIR Pros and the Eagles, and it's really all, a lot of it is automated, but
Yeah.
you know, 5 years ago it was bring out my mount every day, set up, and I am all spending every single night hands-on troubleshooting, and there's something to that, you know. It's fun, it's tedious, but you know, it makes the end result that much more rewarding.
I agree. And you know, I gotta be honest with you. I bought my Eagle, and I haven't looked back. Have not looked back.
You know, neither of us would. You know, that automation, being able to sit down, hit run sequence and Sequence Generator Pro, and be able to focus, change filters, play solve, point, just click of a button. That's we've earned that. We've earned that.
We have. It's been a long road. It's been a long road, I'm telling you. I mean, but whether it's ASIR, because there's a place for the ASIR. We have this conversation quite a lot on the show. That I'm a big Prima Luce fan, and I've always have been. And you know, the only reason I didn't get into the ASIR or even the cameras was because I bought my S-Big camera a long time ago.
Wouldn't work.
And it won't work with the ASIR Pro, so I was relegated to buy something else, which was...
Nathan, gonna bring me my coffee?
Bring me the coffee. But
oh man, I didn't realize that I wasn't muted. This
never
thing
muted.
doesn't.
You're like Darth Vader. You just...
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. You've been getting better. You've been getting better. It's okay. I just busted chops. Actually, Eric had a question. When do you drizzle every frame, or say every 6 frames? Does it depend on how bad you are undersampling your target? I dithered every 3 frames with the 294 Rokinon. I wonder if I should have done every frame.
I'd say it when you did it depends on how bad your walking noise is.
Yeah.
If you're dithering every 3 frames and you're still seeing, like walking noise across your image, then go ahead and dither every 1 frame.
Yeah.
That's definitely, it takes up time if you have 30-second exposures, and you have to dither. You know, that's a 10-second process. So for every 30-second exposure, you have a 10-second dither. After 3 frames, that equals out to 1 extra exposure.
Frame. Yep.
Exactly. Yep. So there is a downside. You lose some data acquisition time, but you're probably making up for the noise in that way as well. So if you're still seeing walking noise, then I would definitely recommend dithering as frequently as you can. But you know, when you're using 600-second subs, or 10, 15 minute subs, dithering every frame is not an issue at all. It's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, exactly. You know, when you're doing 10-minute exposures, if you're going to dither for 20 seconds per frame, you're better off doing
It'll take a lot of dithers to get up to a single exposure.
Exactly. and your quality of your image is going to be a lot better too. So.
Yeah, I wish we had an image that we could show. I have one in my head, of seeing, those vertical lines all the way through the picture, as a result of not using dither, and that alone, reducing and averaging that out, to me, that's worth a 15 or 20 second, dithering process.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But
So-
yeah, I guess the answer to Eric's question would be you're really going to have to take a look at those raw files and see what you're seeing. And
He just
That's
said
it.
he was using 300-second exposures, so
Mm.
definitely dither it almost
Yeah,
every
I
time.
would.
And
Everyone.
that would be my recommendation.
I agree.
And anything above 3 minutes for me, I dither every frame personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And especially if you're doing narrowband, which you do almost everything, you're doing more than 3 minutes anyway. So,
right.
you know, so hey,
So Tegan, when you once you have you've acquired your data that has been properly dithered, right, and you've got say 40 or 50 frames of 300-second exposures, right, and now you want to apply the drizzle data. Maybe you could talk a little bit about how that works and what where you see that in software. And
So
also the other thing was also the difference between, because we were talking about this while you were wondering if NEM was showing up, okay? Was the difference between binning in hardware and binning in software. Because we've talked about that a little bit, so maybe there's two subjects there that you could maybe hit on a little bit with your experience.
And as far as the drizzling goes, you drizzle during the stacking process. You can do pix and sight. I typically just stack in Deep Sky Stacker, honestly, and that's what I know. That's what I've done, and it gives you good results. But when you drizzle, I kind of say it's kind of like the opposite of binning, where in binning you take for binning 2x2, you take 4 pixels and you combine it into one larger pixel. But when you drizzle times 2, you're taking 1 pixel and you're dividing it into 2x2 pixels. So your 10 megapixel photo now becomes a faux 40 megapixel photo, which helps with sampling. So if your stars are blocky, then you want to drizzle by 2 or even by 3, which gives you 9 times that resolution, and that will help with stars. So if you're very undersampled, you want to drizzle, and you can do that in, like I said, Deep Sky Stacker, or in Pix and Sight. But as far as the binning goes, hardware or software, that
he's choosing his words carefully.
Yes, and if you're using a ZWO camera and they recommend one thing, do what they recommend.
Read
Which is
the manual.
Mostly bin in software, but like the 294, the ASI 294 monochrome, which it seems to be one of their cameras that they recommend you bin hardware. I've been binning hardware for the 294 monochrome, and my results have been great. So,
okay.
And I
Fair
think
answer,
the new,
fair answer.
I think the new 2600, not the color, but I think the color can do it as well. But I think the mono camera actually allows you to bin in hardware as well. So I think with the latest firmware update that they had for that, I think
I heard that as well.
Yeah.
And truly, I don't know if I haven't compared the results of a stack of data bin hardware and a stack of data bin software and put them together. I know that I've taken several hours of bin, one by one data, put it into Pix and Sight, and then software binned it, and I don't see I see no difference. The pixels are bigger, but I don't see a difference in dynamic range. I don't believe that your well depth automatically just becomes. I'm not sure, so I'm not too sure.
I hear you.
It's okay. So if you are in threat of oversampling, where your pixel size and so on and so forth is pushing you towards more of an oversampled image, you bin 2x2, and then when you're stacking, you can drizzle to kind of bring that back full circle. Am I right?
Yeah, you could, but you may as well just not been.
Yeah.
And just understand what your sampling rate is.
Okay.
And if you're at 0.8 to or above, then you could probably keep it at bin one by one.
I agree.
Getting down by 0.4, 0.5 arc seconds per pixel, you may want to consider just go ahead and bin and don't worry about this.
So the best approach on this would be to take your equipment, put it into Astro Tool, which was the
Astronomy.tools.
Astronomy.tools, yes, and figure out where you're actually at, so that you can plan out whether or not you want to drizzle or dither.
The equation for sampling is it's simple.
Yeah.
You just take your pixel size, you divide it by your focal length, and then you multiply it by 206.3.
Yep.
And that will give you your sampling rate.
Or you can just go to astronomy.tools and put in your telescope and camera.
And just go ahead and do the math. You don't have to do that.
I'm lazy. I'm not going to do the math. But
my teachers always said you won't have a calculator in your pocket. Whatever you go around.
Now we all have calculators.
I'm telling you.
But one thing you really got to be honest with yourself on. Doggy's here.
Oh, I got a visitor.
Doggy's too big.
Oh,
But
he's getting so big.
you got to be really honest with yourself as far as your seeing is concerned.
It's true.
You can't just leave it at the default of 1 to 2, because some are not, like myself, may not be at 1 to 2 in New York City. You want to be, you want to be, because that's going to affect your resolution, your resolving power, and not to mention your tracking and your guiding and all that. So.
Yeah, and maybe you could talk a little bit on that too. How do you define seeing? What is the difference between, seeing and sky conditions? What does this mean? Because I'm sure people are wondering about that.
When I talk about seeing conditions, I just say, go to cleardarksky.com and see what your seeing conditions are for that night. Because you are not going to be able to look up at the sky and be like, my seeing right now is 3.5 arc seconds. And that means that I can divide by 3. I'm good at 0.7, 1.25, and
right.
I'm good to go. Just go to cleardarksky.com, see what your seeing conditions are, sample accordingly.
Again, we don't have the lazy astronomer with us tonight. He's home watching, and that's Jason.
Yeah. You've met Jason before on the phone, Tegan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But so my ears are getting sweaty.
Yeah, we definitely need to keep up with the questions here. Let's see.
Yeah, it looks like we caught up. I think.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Looks like we caught up. There was only a couple of questions. Okay. People are just talking with each other.
I'm going to do a quick weather check. I'll be right back.
Yep.
Sure.
Let me switch this over. There we go. Yeah, so I don't have much left to talk about. Oh, the other thing that I want to talk about maybe is a little bit about Cherry Springs. Again. And I'm still thinking the last week in August, first week in September is the moving target. I think right now, if we look at, let's see, moon calendar.
That's not me this time.
That's not me.
I think he left his mic running.
It could be. That's okay. I'm just looking into the moon calendar right now and find. I think the new moon is the first week in September. But this is not. I think I'm on my
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to a dark sky site like Cherry Springs, which is a portal 2, which is, I mean, that's crazy. You got to get out into Arizona and to Death Valley to get to portal 1.
Well, I'm not worried about you know, eventually I'll get that. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, when you're going to a dark sky set like that, you definitely want to be shooting broadband.
See, 2021, January, February, March. Okay, so September 6th is the new moon. September 6th.
Okay. First
so, June, July, August, September 6th is a Monday. So, we're looking at the same thing. So, we're looking at somewhere between August 29th and September 5th.
Okay.
So, I would say if you want to set something solid right now, I would say right now I would go for that 3rd, 4th, 5th weekend in September.
First
weekend in September. Just as a, you know, so we could get a date down maybe.
Yep.
And we
That
can
sounds
move
good.
it. We can move it along from there. So again, I'll wait for Tegan to come back before we announce it again.
Yeah, and I know that he also wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of you know, the filters that you use, and because again you run up against, you know, well, why would I buy a you know, a narrowband filter for, you know, $400 when I can get one over here for $99, you know, and the importance of getting good glass and so on and so forth. I mean, there's a lot in this hobby, you know, be it terrestrial photography or celestial photography, that, you know, the old adage is you get what you pay for. Some things you can make out pretty well on, you know, and all, but you know, when it comes to good glass, I have never, and I mean in all the years that I've been a photographer, I have never skimped on glass ever, and I've never ever regretted it.
Yeah, I agree.
It's buy once, cry once.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, you and I are both going to be getting those Leah filters. So I can't wait for that. I'll be getting my 3 nanometer 2-inch for the 16200, and you'll be getting your 36 millimeter very soon. So it's just happening. You're getting Christmas every day, something new.
It's just insane. Yeah, I mean, I got these from Farpoint, from Optical Structures, I don't know, 4 months ago, something like that, and they're still wrapped up.
Huh.
You know, can you see that?
Yep.
That's my LRGB.
Yep. The
Astrodowns.
Right?
Yep, and they're still literally packaged. You know, I haven't even cracked them because I haven't had the equipment to do it. Everything's been on back order. It's only been in the last week when I've actually been able to assemble a rig that will work.
Well, at least you can put your LRGB filters in there. Now you got a decision to make. Do you want to crack open that filter wheel twice or once?
I don't have a filter wheel.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
you got that
buddy.
stupid Moag thing that you got to switch the filters in the dead of winter. I want that picture of you stomping through the snow, changing the filters. I really do. You got to put like a Ring camera thing in there, and then I want to see you with snowshoes and a parka. And I want to see you go out there at like 2 o'clock in the morning in the dead of winter to go from red to green. That's how it is.
Yeah. Yep. But, you know, I mean, he loves to tease me about that. What he doesn't understand is that I've got a big snowblower and a huge concrete driveway. So
I don't know if you want to blow snow around your telescope, but...
No, of course not. But these bad boys are really kind of cool. And it looks like plastic. It's not. These are, and I've shown these many times, but these are billeted aluminum, and you can see how thick they are. You know, they're the 1/4 inch thick billeted aluminum. And those filters literally sit down in there, and there is a tiny, tiny lip. I mean, it is maybe a 1/2 millimeter of aluminum that separates it, that filter sits in, and then it's bolted in place
Yep.
around there. So that will hold that, and they literally just slide in, slide out, and you're good to go. But yeah, so I'm excited about doing some LRGB data. I'm thinking about actually shooting the North American. The North American is in a pretty good position where my telescope is pointing north.
It's red. You want to do narrowband on that guy.
Well, and eventually I will.
Yeah.
Eventually I will. But I want to get some luminance data on it. So.
Oh yeah. You grab the luminance on that and add it to your narrowband. It's gonna be sick.
Yep.
Although,
yeah.
You could do that, but believe it or not, H alpha and the detail you get out of that, sometimes that beats out the luminance. And
really?
Yeah.
So you're using your H alpha as your luminance
do
layer?
HARGB. And use the HA as your luminance. And some people have been getting some really cool results out of it.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I'm kind of wondering.
Yeah, I hope he's coming back.
Yeah. I get some pretty significant storms coming through Cincinnati. I remember back in 90, I think it was 91. In fact, it was 91. It was the ice storm of 1991. I was in Louisville, Kentucky, and I was coming up through Ohio, and coming out of Cincinnati, heading towards Cleveland. It looked like a war zone. I'd never seen anything like it. The ice had come through there, and there were dozens of tractor trailers that were literally laying on their sides.
Oh my God.
And dozens, and it went on for miles and miles and miles. And it was frightening. I don't get scared really easily. That event, that was scary.
Yeah.
And so Central Ohio, they can get some pretty wild freaking storms coming through there.
Oh yeah, I lived in Savannah for 2 years, and let me tell you, the first it was a typhoon warning or it was a cyclone warning, and it was literally everything was so quiet. It was so quiet. It was like you could hear, you heard the birds tweeting from miles away. And what we saw was, and I wish I had my camera at the time, what we saw was, I don't know if you remember the movie Flash Gordon with Sam J. Jones and Max von Sydow from the 80s. Do you remember those purple and nice cloud scenes that were always coming up? That's exactly what it looked like. All those colors, and it wasn't as vivid as the movie, but I mean, I'm ready to start singing, "Here we are." Oh, no, wrong song.
Yeah.
Wrong song. Flash!
Yeah.
It was scary. It was scary.
Yeah, you see the colors in the clouds like that. That's usually a pretty good sign that you need to get into a storm cellar quick. Oh
yeah, we didn't have that. So, so basically, we just cracked open a bottle of wine and hoped for the best. Everything was fine.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. It was just really freaky.
I'm back, guys. I'm back.
Everything okay?
Hey, everything okay?
Yeah, everything's good. Just a beautiful lightning storm.
Oh, okay.
No rain.
Those are the best.
All right, cool. Well, at least no damage and you're safe, so that's good.
Nope. Not yet.
So
yeah, well.
So we were thinking about the filters and when to use filters. What the difference between the different narrowband filters is. What's the difference between LRGB and your narrowband filters, and why use these? Why not use them? We've got you had stepped away and we were talking about our unofficial, unsanctioned star party in Cherry Springs, right? And,
yes.
You go to a dark sky site like
September.
that, Bortle too.
Yeah, it looks like we just locked down the first, first unsanctioned, unofficial AstroWorld star party over at Cherry Springs first weekend in September. So the new moon is on the 6th. So we're looking 3rd, 4th, 5th, which is the weekend before new moon.
Yep.
And again, it'll be a moving target. So if you want to come and join us, you're more than welcome, and we'll definitely keep in touch with that. So
take a 9-hour trip.
It's 7 for me. I mean,
is it 9 from Cincinnati? Is it really that far? I guess
almost
so.
8. I think it's 8 hours 42 minutes plus stop, food, etc.
Stopping food.
Yeah.
Who's stopping?
Well, he does have kids, so.
I'll leave them at home.
Unfortunately, I probably, when I do come, I would not be able to bring the wife because they do not allow dogs at Cherry Springs at all, and I have 2, and
I could see people having an issue with that.
Yeah. I really thought, I know for a fact that people have brought dogs.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that everybody go and bring dogs. I'm not saying that. But I know for a fact that people have brought dogs. Now, maybe because they were in a camper and they kept the dog mostly in the camper. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
that's a possibility.
I know for a fact that dogs were at Cherry Springs at least 3 or 4 years in a row at the Cherry Springs Star Party and Black Forest. So.
Well, I mean, if you got an 80-pound, German Shepherd that's on a retractable line and he goes around the legs of a telescope, I mean, I could see that being a big problem.
Yeah, the dogs that I've seen were like mini poodles. I mean, these weren't big dogs.
Rat in a sweater?
Pretty much. Astro with Eric said his Edge 8 looks good. We finally got a successful shipping of a telescope that didn't
without
break.
it being damaged. Yeah.
Nice.
Holy cow. Tegan, I don't know if Scott told you, we've gone through a whole slew, whether it was shipped from myself personally, from Camera Concepts, from Explore Scientific. We had like 4 or 5
that were
issues where things were just smashed.
Yep.
From FedEx
had a
and
C11,
UPS.
big dent in it, big dent, a big C11. Looked like somebody drop kicked it.
Crazy nowadays.
I know, and you know what? In most of the situations, I paid personally for them to pack it. Mm-hmm. I never packed anything myself. I let them pack it, and thank God everything's been claimed now and they paid out and everything. But it was like 2 months where things were just getting damaged. So I guess Eric purchased a Edge 8 from Camera Concepts and a reducer for it. So he just got the Edge 8 today. He also has a deposit for a 9 1/4, so he bought this because we had one. but hey, he's gonna love that. He's back to all Schmitz. He sold all his refractors.
Yeah. I'd say an Edge 8 1100 would be a scope that I would love to dabble with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the 9 1/4, I wouldn't mess with. That wouldn't be too bad. That's a nice sweet spot. 11's a little big for me. It's just not 14 of the Mr. 14-incher over here. But
well,
And my Rainbow Astro mount.
Yeah, well.
Did we tell you we hate Scott? We hate Scott on the show.
Yeah, I'm getting all kinds of love.
It's fear in me.
I actually live vicariously through Scott, so.
Me too. I love not taking photos.
Dude, you want to? This is why I'm not taking photos. Here we go. Everything's a disaster.
Oh yeah.
It's just a mess.
That's the 127 right there.
That's the 127. The Asada's back here.
Wow, nice.
The 1600 is back here. And then I got the LE is hiding back there. I got focusers and crap. I got stuff all over. And I got Scott's adapter that I've been holding for like 3 months that I'm supposed to send him. And
No, you see, you got to tell him. You got to tell him about that.
Is that an ADM plate?
It's an
Yeah, it
ADM
is.
D to D female.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
For his red
you know
cat or
what?
something?
What's that?
No, it's it's not for that. It believe it or not, um, the Feather Touch focus system, the box, the control unit, the control box, fits in the Losbandi dovetail perfectly. So you can set it down there, you can and just gently tighten it down, and it'll hold that box perfectly. And then you just put that on the dovetail bar, and you're good to go. No more Velcro.
Now you can just slide it on, slide it off.
Yep, it's perfect.
That's what I do with a lot of my things because it adds a little weight to it, but the easeability of just
81,
taking things off.
what's the big deal?
Well, yeah, I don't have a 110-pound capacity mount. I have a 44-pound capacity mount. So
Yeah.
I will soon have my 110, but it's coming probably. Actually, I got lucky. I got lucky. So Jeff had one on order at Camera Concepts, and it hasn't sold yet. So I said, "Can you put one in order for me?" He's like, "Yeah, it's coming. You'll have it for Thanksgiving."
Yeah.
I'll take it. Thanksgiving gives me time to pay for it.
Yeah.
But,
Yep.
Hey Dan, when is first light with your 127? I have first light. I could show it to you, but only if you promise not to laugh. Realize that no darks, no flats, no calibration frames at all, and it's a 5-minute shot from a Borderlands sky. so
I was going to say, I think the only thing that matters is the corners. How do the corners look?
The corners suck.
Mm-hmm.
The corners suck.
Okay.
So, here's the thing with the corners. The stars look good, but I have vignetting. The problem is that I had this M42 Hotech flattener on there, and the chip is just so damn big. So I bought.
Ain't gonna work.
No, so I bought this guy. This guy's going on. Simon actually told me to get this guy. This is from Telescope, whatever, that German company.
Telescope.
Yeah.
TS Optics.
They're excellent.
Yeah. So it's got the M63 on one side, which goes right into my rotator, and the M48 on the other side. Yeah. So it's very little vignetting. It's not a lot, but I'll just show it to you. You can see it. I'm not shy. I don't care.
I never considered vignetting a problem. It can be remedied with flat frames.
It can, but I'd rather just have it. I'd rather just have it good all around. The less crap you got to do to a photograph, I mean, the better, I think. But
I'm old school in that too. I believe that you have to, the more you can get actually in camera, the better. The less you have to do in software. My wife has literally pounded that into me. She's like, "Don't rely on software. Don't rely on software. Make sure that you get it in camera." I mean, my wife's a consummate designer. She's a consummate artist, and I would not be where I am as a photographer if it wasn't for her influence, and she just hammered it into me, Don't rely on the software. Get it in camera.
I'll bring this over to here. And you guys
I think that holds true with data acquisition. If you're in light polluted skies or you're not getting enough data, that photo is going to be so much harder to post process, no matter how good you are at post processing.
Absolutely.
If you have a lot of data, it is so simple to work with, and it takes 4 times the time. You're saving 4 times the time processing a fantastic data set.
I agree.
That's like my biggest recommendation to like beginning astrophotographers. Don't slack on your acquisition time.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't sit there and be happy. I usually narrowband. I mean, you could. I'm sure you could vouch for this, Tegan. with Narrowband, I don't even start looking at my photos until I hit the 10-hour mark. I don't even look at them. I don't even want to see them. You know, and then once I start, then I do it every 5 hours or whatever, depending on how much imaging that I can get in. But what's your process with that?
Almost exactly that. You know, I will, you know, after about 10 or 12 hours of data acquisition, I'll stack it, and I know the difference between, you know, how significant a signal to noise ratio difference is between 10 hours and 15 hours,
Sure.
or even 15 and 20 hours. That's getting up there as far as time is. But yeah, I'll stack about after 10 hours, I'll go every night that I capture data, I'll include it, stack it, and be like, okay, you know, maybe 5 more hours, and then I'll quit eventually.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there is that wonderful law of diminishing returns that we have with our things. So is that extra 5 hours going to make that impact on your photo to make it worth those 5 hours? Sometimes yes.
Yeah, yeah, no, if you are sitting at, you know, 5 hours and you want to get 5 more hours, you're doubling your signal to noise ratio. But, you know, if you're at 20 hours and you want to get that extra 5,
diminishing
maybe
returns.
go 10, go to 30 hours, and then you'll see a significant difference. So it's that ratio.
Yeah, just the whole fact is, as you get more and more data, to get that impact really takes a lot longer and longer time. So you're going to see a huge impact between 5 and 10, like Tegan said. You'll see a big impact between that. However, between 15 and 20, you're going to be like, maybe it looks like yesterday. You know, you maybe see a little wispy stuff here and there, and you might pick up a couple stuff. But for the most part, I mean, and that's different. It's different for every camera, every setup, every single different person's rig is going to be different. So the only person that can judge that law
is you. And you got to know your equipment. You have to use your equipment, get out there every night that it's clear, and know your equipment.
Yep. And then you can say, okay, you know what? And you know what? It's not only the rig that it changes; it's the target. You know, so you can't forget about the target, because if you have a low surface brightness target, you may be seeing a huge impact from 15 to 20.
Exactly.
You got to judge it.
Orion.
Yeah, exactly.
You're good at 2. Just stop at 2 hours.
Yeah, you're doing 15 hours on the floor.
Yeah, you can see the Orion Nebula in a Bortle 4 with a naked eye.
I can see it.
I can see
the Orion Nebula from my backyard naked eye, and I'm in Bortle 8.
Yeah.
You know, so that's not saying much. It could be my cataracts.
George is asking a question about the website for your flattener.
Oh yeah, I'll throw it up there for you. Absolutely. And you know what I'll do real quick? I just want to show you that picture with the vignetting.
Yes.
Here you go.
Down the rabbit hole.
Now, this is M101 from a Bortle 8 Sky, 1 5-minute shot with no processing, no calibration frames. Doesn't look that bad without a stretch, but as you...
Where's the photo?
What?
Where's the photo?
You don't see it?
I don't. I see you and I see Dan and Scott.
Yeah, I see the photo, but...
Try... Okay, let me see. Is it on the wrong thing?
Oh, wow.
How about that?
Nope.
You can see it on YouTube.
Okay. Try it on you. Go to the YouTube channel.
Yeah, look at it on YouTube.
Send them the link.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
You got it? So here it is, and I'll show you with the super stretch, the super boost, and now you can see what I'm talking about. So in the corners here, up in here, up in there, and up in there. Forget about all this crap going on. But
it's like somebody sneezed on that sensor, man.
Yeah. Well, I bought the camera used, so I'm in the process of cleaning it up. So I literally just got it. So
Yeah.
I'm in the process of cleaning it up. I'm just going to blow it out with a hand blower and get the big stuff out. But other than that, I'm not going to go crazy and take the whole thing apart and whatever. All of this will be taken care of by flats anyway. You know what I mean? It's going to be taken care of anyway, for the most part. So, but once I get that flattener on, hopefully across the field now, I'll be able to see a little bit. And if you can take a look at the stars, I mean, you know, the stars, you know,
they look good.
They look pretty
decent. They look
decent.
round from my house. So.
What's that?
They look good.
They look round from my house.
Yeah, so I mean, I might have a little bit, you know, again, I did the flattener really quick, so maybe a millimeter off here. I'm starting to see a little bit egging in some areas, but, you know, I'm not worried about it so much.
It's not bad. That's just one frame, right?
That's one
just
frame.
Subframe?
That's one frame.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I'm not worried about it. But that's that.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
So I also have a 51 too, but I mean, you know, that's, you know, it looks exactly the same. That big dust mote in the middle, and you know, but.
And I can't hit, you know, hard enough the importance of keeping your equipment clean. And we talked about this on the Wednesday show, but you know, using stuff like the Eclipse cleaning fluid, these bad boys, you know, which you can get at B&H dirt cheap. You get 4-pack for $20. That'll last you a long time, right?
I think it's like 500 each package. Yeah, the Giotto rocket blower.
Yeah, got everybody that's in imaging's got to have one of these bad.
I got two of them. I got floating around somewhere.
They're freaking awesome. The best. I've had several different blowers. This rocket blower is hands down the best one I've ever had.
Yeah. So.
Tegan, did you want to hit on the importance or the with filters and what your experience has been with filters? Maybe going cheap and then realizing maybe you should have bought better glass, and realizing the importance of spending good money on good glass.
Yeah. I would say the biggest thing I see is people shooting the wrong kind of targets with the wrong kind of filter, and that's specifically with the L Extreme and the L Enhance from Optilon. People like to put those narrowband filters and shoot broadband targets like galaxies, and you know, they're like, you can see, like Andromeda, for instance, you can see the galaxy. The color is red. It's like a red, blue, green shift. Hues, I should say, across the image. It doesn't look like a natural LRGB image would. I see this quite a lot, actually. Whether people message me on Instagram or, you know, Facebook, my astronomy page, and it's my biggest thing is make sure you know what kind. If you're shooting a broadband target, you have to use broadband filters. You know, shooting a narrowband target, then you can use the L Enhance or the L Extreme. Yeah. But as far as quality of filters go, I guess you could. That comes down to bandwidth: 3 nanometer, 5 nanometer, 7, 12 nanometer.
Yep.
If the more light polluted you are, the narrower you want to go. Being in Bortle 7, I opted to go 3 nanometers, and I've never looked back. Probably never ever will go anything besides 3 nanometers. If you're in darker skies, then you could consider a 5, a 7, maybe even a 12. Especially if you're shooting at fast focal ratios like the Rasa, or a fast Newtonian like the Takahashi F32. You will get band shift with those narrower filters, so you want to compensate for that and go for a 7 nanometer filter, I'd say, if you're shooting with a really fast system. But anything like any other than that, a 3 nanometer or a 5 nanometer, they are worth it.
Yeah, actually, Scott and I are both waiting on our 3 Antillas Pros and Leah's Pros.
The Antillas.
The Antillas. The Anteaters.
The Anteaters. That's going to stick, Dan.
Hey, I've been saying Antilla for a year now, and I looked at it and I was like, wow, It's Aunt Leah. Okay, I've been saying
Yeah.
it wrong. Nobody ever corrected
it's
me.
Aunt Leah. Everyone, it's Aunt Leah.
Nobody corrected me. Nobody says Aunt
No one
Leah.
corrects anybody about those filters.
Come on. Anyway, so I actually purchased the 36 millimeters for the SB. I ordered the pros. I was going to get the 3.5 regulars, and then my buddy Scott, Simon, not my buddy Scott. Nobody hates Scott.
Not me.
My buddy Simon. He said he showed us a picture because he had both. For whatever reason, he had both. He had the 3.5s and the 3 nanometer pros, and he put up a picture of both of them of the horse head, and he showed on the tack and the nice circle halo that it had because of the brightness of it with the 3.5s, and it was gone with the 3.0s. So I called up OPT and I said, change them, and I changed them. So I'm paying them off. I did bread or whatever, and I'm paying them off, because I knew it was going to be forever for me to get them. So there's no reason for me to lay down $1,000 right away. So I said, all right. So I said, and the next thing I know, this 16200 dropped in my lap for a dream price, filled with all Optolong filters, with the off-axis guider, the whole package. I said, all right. So I bought that, and I knew I wasn't going to keep the Optolongs, but I got them. I'll sell them, whatever. So I called up OPT. I said, I want to change them to the 2-inch because now I don't have a 36 millimeter filter wheel. So he's like, oh, okay, no problem. Then Scott calls me up. He goes, no, don't do it. I'll take them.
Don't sell them.
So I said, don't worry about changing them. Scott's now taking my 36s. I placed another order for the 2-inch. And so no, they're both coming to my house eventually.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I freaked when he said he was sending them back. I'm like, no, don't do it. I'll buy them.
It's funny. It's interesting how things like kind of sometimes, and it doesn't happen often for me. Some things just fall in your lap in a certain way, and
it works out.
In my life, it's rare and few and far between. But this time, it just the stars aligned. It seemed to work.
Yep. So, Tegan, if you were to describe, if you could give maybe an example or maybe a couple of examples of what is a broadband target and what is a narrowband target, and when to use the different, because there are people out there, like you said, they have no clue. They have no clue. They don't understand that Andromeda is a broadband target.
Right.
Yeah. So galaxies, nearly all galaxies, they do have hydrogen and oxygen emissions within them because there are nebula within them, but overall it's just stars and dust. So the galaxies are broadband targets, or LRGB targets. Star clusters are LRGB targets, and reflection nebula like the Pleiades, the Iris Nebula, some of those BDD cataloged objects are reflection nebula. And I saw in our in the live chat somebody mentioned the L Pro from Optolong.
Yep.
Yes, that's if you're going to use a Optolong filter on a broadband target, it's the L Pro, and then the L Extreme and the L Enhance for narrowband targets. So emission nebula, like most of the nebula that you see imaged, the Orion, the Eagle, the Lagoon, the Elephant Trunk, the Heart, all those are great narrowband targets. And if you're not sure, Google it and you'll get an answer very quickly. Or just Google images. If you see the oranges and the blues and the greens, it's typically a narrowband target. And if you see a galaxy, it's shot in LRGB.
Yep. And to your point, you could definitely add some narrowband to certain galaxies to get those nice hydrogen pockets. Like M101 is famous for that kind of stuff. There's so many. Yeah, absolutely. And you see those nice little. If you see that image of the galaxy with nice little purple pockets and stuff like that you see, somebody added H alpha to their image and was able to get that.
Yep. Yeah.
George Lutch actually said the IDES narrowband, NBZ for narrowband F2 systems like the Hyperstar, it accounts for the shift apparently. So
Yeah.
If I had a Hyperstar system, I would probably in a monochrome camera, I'd get just like one of those filter drawers and consider 7nm filters, and I think I'd be okay. I don't think there's very much shift at all at 7nm at f2. I don't believe so.
And the Hyperstar actually
here we go.
has it. You can get it with
Yeah.
built right into it.
Yep.
You know, and you can buy just these bad boys. You know, so you just thread your mounted filters right into that bad boy, and you're good to go.
And you go ahead.
No, I just Eric asked about what about bright or reflection nebula, RGB and narrowband. For bright nebula, just you can image the Eagle Nebula in broadband LRGB, but it's going to be mostly red, but you're going to have really nice natural color stars. Reflection nebula, I would say always go LRGB. Don't image reflection nebula in narrowband because you're not. I've never actually seen that done, so I'm not sure what the result would be. But
Probably look kind of funky.
very minimal data.
Yeah.
Maybe some O3. I don't.
What was that?
Maybe some
O3.
O3, but
Maybe it really depends. Depends on the image.
One of the great tools to use, in this is, once you've identified the target that you want, just go to AstroBin, and and you look up your particular target, and most of those, if not all of those astrophotographers, they have a list of everything they did to capture that image.
Mm-hmm.
It's an incredibly useful tool.
Yeah, no, and don't forget when you're doing narrowband, and if you're one of those people with multiple cameras, and most of us have multiple cameras, some of us have monochrome, narrowband, and a color camera, and all that. Don't forget that if you're doing narrowband, and I do a lot of narrowband because of my light pollution, and so do you, Tegan.
Right.
Scott does nothing, but Scott's gonna have some awesome picks, and he's gonna come up with a pick like in a month, and he's gonna like slap me down. But you could take those, you could take RGB data and slap that on to your narrowband photograph and get those nice natural color stars that you don't get with narrowband. Either with narrowband you get something like a purple star or some halos or some bloat or something like that. You could take, and I know that there's Visible Dark. I know he has Sean Nielsen has a great tutorial on how to do that in about 2 seconds with Pixel Map. And you just plop it in there and you're good. And you have a narrowband image with RGB stars, and you're good.
The HOO, the hydrogen oxygen, like a bicolor palette.
Yep.
With LRGB stars is an awesome way to go if you don't have an S2 filter. The HOO palette with RGB stars is a very natural looking palette.
Yeah, it's very good.
That was the whole reason I decided to go with the 2600, both the color and the mono, was because I wanted to have that flexibility to be able to blend a color image with a monochrome image,
Yep.
But just another tool in the bucket, another tool in the bin.
Yep. It's coming up on
versatility that comes with the monochrome camera is
Yeah.
pretty astounding.
Sure.
I'd-
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Yeah.
I love talking
Whenever
about
we
this
whenever
stuff.
whenever we have whenever we get a guest, and Tegan, I don't consider Tegan a guest. Tegan's a friend, and but whenever we have somebody, we always seem to get along, and but I'm hoping that this isn't the this isn't the last time. I'm hoping this is the first time, you know, that you come on and grace us with your presence, you know, and share your wisdom with us.
Yeah,
I know that myself, I welcome that.
Of course, I've very much enjoyed myself. So.
And listen, the more the merrier, and the whole reason that, you know, basically I guess the 7 of us now, and this is just a growing family, that it's so awesome that we can find so many people, and there are so many people out there, not to mention, you know, Eric, Simon, Jason, us 3, you know, all the people that are involved with AstroWorld, and all the people that come on every week, George Lutch, Frank Longo, my buddy Gig, all those guys that come on literally every week. Jim's Astro, he's on every week. And I can't thank these guys enough for the support, because they just come on and just hang out twice a week sometimes.
Yep.
They come hang out from like till 10 o'clock at night, just sitting in front of a computer watching us making idiots of ourselves. And it's great. Yep. But the whole point of this whole thing is that we all learn from each other, and that we're able to, you know, take the criticism and give the ideas out to the people that ask for the questions, and learn from each other. And that's the best thing about this whole community, because if there's one thing I've learned about this astrophotography community, 99.9 of the people out there will share what they know.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And you can't say that with a lot of things.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, and now with the outlets we have, with the internet, with YouTube / Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok eventually probably, whatever, you know. But, you know, it really, really makes for a huge platform and a huge opportunity to get the word out to a lot of people a lot faster, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there is no way that I could have gotten as far into this as I have in the short, and it really has been a short amount of time. I've been, this adventure has been a little more than a year now, about 14 months since I started this. And I can guarantee you there is no way that I would be where I'm at now if it wasn't for that community.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely certain of that, you know. And it's really, it is, you're right, Dan, it is very refreshing to see people willing to share their knowledge base, willing to share, you know, not only what they know, but they're willing to share their mistakes, you know, and the things that they did, so that you don't have to step on that same landmine, which is really kind of cool. I've been in photography groups where people, they hoard their knowledge. They you know, it's they don't want you learning their secrets and this and that. And I'm like, why do that? Why do that? You know, your image is your image.
Yeah.
You know, you can't claim my image. To do so is theft, right? So, you know, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. You know, and when you hoard that, you know, you're robbing others of what could potentially be an amazing experience.
Or
you don't want to do that.
If you want to talk about it from a New York point of view, you basically say, learn from the best, so you don't suck like the rest. So you know,
yep.
You know, hey, you know, you're right though, Scott. I mean, there are people out there, even in the astrophotography community, that hold their secrets close to the chest for whatever reason. And some people are very closed, and that's okay. It could be just it may not even be a astrophotography thing. It could just be personality, and that's the way people are.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And that's okay, just as long as the masses, like what we're doing now, opens up the door for the people that don't get, because sometimes the bad thing about that, holding that stuff close to the chest, is that you'll turn people off to the hobby. And we don't want to do that. We want to encourage people. We want to bring them in and teach them in a place, in a way that they get the least amount of bruises. you know.
Yeah. And that whole thing, it is attractive to people that are like-minded, but that are they're way further down that pike than we are. You know, like Ron Breacher, like Adam Block.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're talking about legends in this field. You know, I mean, we had Adam on the show a while back. He's been on a couple times.
3 times.
Yeah, that. I mean, you talk about a mind dump. Holy cow!
Yeah. and Ron's been on twice. Tom Bramwell from Prima Luce's been on twice.
I like Tom.
We had Doug Struble on in the beginning. T.J. Connolly on in the beginning.
Sean Nielsen.
Sean Nielsen's been on. I tried to grab Stacy Downton, but she's been having, from what I'm seeing on Facebook, she hasn't been feeling well. She's just getting back into things. So again, so we're gonna try and grab her eventually.
We gotta get more to girls, man. We gotta get more to girls. There are so many amazing women out there that are in this.
I tried to get Amy Astro too. Amy Astro was gonna come on. I'm still working on certain things. So. Adam took Eric's still crying over the schooling Adam gave him. On the show one day, Eric said something probably that Adam did not agree with very much. So basically, Adam just told him how it was, and Eric took it well. He took it well. He took it very well. But the next show, he's like, "Damn!" he's like, "Oh man, I was wrong." but I mean, we're hoping that more people come on. I know Tom will be on. I know Tom. I speak to Tom on a weekly basis from Prima Luce.
Yep.
So
Great
I'm sure he'll be on. I know Ron will come on. And by the way, for those of you that don't know, the Masters of Pix Insight tutorials. The next installment is the 21st, I believe. It's Monday at 7 p.m. If you haven't gotten in, it's $35. You go in, and Warren Keller, who is one of the masters of Pix Insight and the author of Inside Pix Insight, is going to be doing his workflow from beginning to end, moving away from stacking after the stacking part. You're not going to sit there and watch stacking for 2 hours and drizzling and all that. It's after that. So starting from like dynamic crop all the way on to ICC profile and get it ready for the web. He's going to be doing a whole workflow in about 2 hours. So it's going to be interesting. So it's $35. You still got time to register if you want to do it. I'll be there. I'm there every week. And they do raffles every time. The last time they raffled off 2 $100 gift certificates to Optalong, 30% off a QHY 268, I think. And I think there was a whole bunch of other stuff. They raffle stuff off all the time. And it's
the 268 is the comparable one to the 2600, isn't it?
Yes.
Am I remembering that right?
I think so.
It is.
Yeah.
It's the APS-C version.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's Warren, Ron, and Pete Proul from IP for AP, and they host Masters of Pix Insight. So check it out. It's kind of cool. MastersofPixInsight.com. And I know Adam Block also, to what Scott says, has his Pix TV tutorials, which are great as well. So, yeah.
Oh yeah.
A lot of information out there. It's good stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
And we're coming up on 2.5 hours, bro.
I know, it's crazy.
My mouth is getting parched.
Yeah. Did you, Tegan, I don't know if you had a chance to see my wife's design. Did you see this?
Totally tubular. I'm still waiting for my shirt, Scott.
That's epic.
Oh, she's working on other designs, man.
No, I want my
designs.
shirt. My design that I thought up. That's what I want. So my design was, you have a refractor on one side, and you have a big Schmidt. It could even be yours, Scott. If you really got that big of a head, it could be yours. It could be your C14 right there. And right in the middle, it says, sometimes it's not the length, it's the girth. That's what I want.
Yeah. I'm going to convince her to do it. I am. I'm going to convince her to do it.
That's what I want.
Hey,
that's what I want for Christmas. That's what I want from you.
You get the. It's like with the Dylan O'Donnell, you know, in his video, you know, My Pillar of Creation, you know, and he's got his big, you know, phallic going on there, and he's a maniac.
Dude, the best video I've seen him do is the 500 rule. Did you ever see my 500 rule? Did you ever see that?
No.
Dude, look it up. It's like 2 minutes. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's
hilarious.
Just,
you'll laugh. Yeah. You'll laugh. It's funny. The guy's really funny.
Dylan's a piece of work.
He's good.
He's a piece of work.
What does he say at the end of all his videos? It really doesn't matter because we're all going to die.
Really
That's right. Life is meaningless. Yep.
Life is
we're all
meaningless.
going to die.
That's right.
Yep.
That is great. That's great. He's a good guy. I never met him. I met Trevor at NEAF 3 years ago.
Oh, Trevor Jones?
Yeah, at Astro Backyard. Yeah, I met him.
Yep.
He came down.
Yeah.
And hung out with.
Yeah, NEAF that's another one we're gonna have to do, man.
Oh, it's back on. It's back on.
It's good.
April 2022.
Yeah.
It's back. They're also talking about doing another virtual in September. That's unsure yet, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, and then AIC in California is going on. That's back on. And they're also going to do in relation to NEAF, they're going to do NEAC as well, the Northeast Astro Images Conference. They're going to be doing that again, and you know, always, you know, COVID / measles, mumps. You know, they've had everything up there over the past couple of years. It's been bad, but
well, I mean, here in New York, I mean, our illustrious leader has lifted all of the restrictions. And
not doing politics.
Well, you know, his daughter's getting married in a couple of days, so you know he's gonna lift all
there is a rumor around that whole thing saying that he just lifted the restrictions so that his daughter can have a wedding with a lot of people, and that it's going to go back on.
if he puts the restrictions back up, people are going to wig.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
No,
he's got too much scandal right now.
Yeah.
But anyway. I have to get some. I gotta turn off the politics. I gotta turn it off because we're gonna get in trouble.
Yep. This has been absolutely amazing. I'm so glad that you came and joined us, Tegan, and I really do hope that you do this again with us. It's been a blast, and so you know, from me personally, thank you. This was great. And,
thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. I love having other people on and getting other people's points and what they're doing and what their thoughts are on the hobby and all that. So it's awesome, and it's a breath of fresh air from getting other people's input. It really is, rather than just seeing me and Scott's ugly mug. You know,
you ain't kidding.
Somebody else. But
so. I work hard to get this ugly mug. Okay, this just take work.
I'm with you, my friend. I'm with you. 52 years right here, and I'm still as ugly as I started.
Yep.
So.
We all can't be handsome devils like Deacon. So.
It's a goatee. It's a goatee. Yeah. But anyway.
So, all right.
Well, Tegan, thank you so much. It's a pleasure. And listen, you're more than welcome, and like Scott said, to come on anytime you want. All you gotta do, you know what I'll do is I'll send you an email with my email, my personal email, and you could, you know, we could
absolutely
start a dialogue. You know,
for sure.
Yeah.
There's the AstroWorld group on Messenger too. That's a possibility.
Yeah, I could throw you on that if you want to be on that. There's like 6.
For sure.
It's a private group with just. Myself, Scott, Simon, Jason, Eric, and
definitely.
If you want to be on it, you're more than welcome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great.
So I'll send you a Facebook request on that.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. I'll try. I'm trying to be on as often as I can. But,
you're more than
me and
welcome.
Scott have talked about a lot lately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. We all know Scott can talk. Scott, how do you take all this beating?
it's just love, baby.
Oh,
It's
I
just
know, I know, I
It's
know.
just
It's all out of love, man. It's all out of love.
Sure
Just
it
feel it. Totally tubular, man. Yeah, so, Tegan, would you like to say any parting words or any,
I guess my only parting word would be, you know, if this is something that you're just now getting into, patience and persistence is
Mm-hmm.
key. And just
Mm-hmm.
be patient, be persistent, get out there under the night sky as often as you can, and hone your craft, and it will become easier, and it'll become more fun and rewarding, and you'll be less troubleshooting and more actual photos. But patience and persistence is key, and
very good.
that's what
Absolutely.
I leave it at.
Absolutely. No, it made perfect sense. Scott?
Yeah, I just a great big old amen to that. You know, that's absolutely right. You got to be patient. You know, and if you don't have patience, you will either learn it or you will sell your equipment.
Yeah.
You know, so this hobby absolutely demands that you have patience. You know, I've been a photographer for 25 years, and this has been probably one of the biggest imaging challenges ever.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be patient. Keep
Yeah.
looking up. Keep being inspired, because there's so much up there. Oh my gosh, it's just so amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. I'm not even going to try and say anything else because those guys pretty much summed it up, and that's the way it is. And we say it, and I'm going to say it at the end of the store, and at the end of the show, I'm going to say it right now. Keep imaging, keep educating, clear skies, and we'll see you Wednesday night at 9 p.m. on AstroWorld TV. We'll see you later. Have a good night, guys.
See you guys.
Bye for now.
Thanks so much.